What really gets my dick hard is
So fucking what?
Welcome to No Life Til Podcast, episode 15. I'm Ethan Luck.
And I'm Clint Wells.
And this week we are talking about No Life Til Leather, and I'm speaking of the cassette demo.
Not actually, just we're not wearing leather right now.
We're not talking about a life of wearing leather.
Yeah.
This is actually about Metallica.
Have you ever worn leather pants?
I don't think I've ever worn... Oh, I own a pair of Doc Martens. That's leather.
You're talking about shoes.
Those are shoes.
Yeah.
I've never worn leather pants.
You probably have owned a leather jacket.
No, never owned one.
Really?
I've never owned one.
You gotta be kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
I've had like 3 leather jackets.
Nope. I haven't even... Okay, this is how not metal I am anymore. I haven't even owned a denim jacket in like...
Get the fuck out of here.
I wear Dickies jackets. Sorry. You've seen my
You were
wardrobe.
you're wearing one that says Social Distortion.
I know.
Which is awesome.
It's on the back of my chair right now.
You've never owned a denim jacket? We gotta change that.
No, I've owned denim jackets. I've just never owned a leather jacket.
Oh, okay.
But I do have a sweet full-size Anthrax back patch that I need to put on a denim jacket.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome. It's a Judge Dredd one.
You just got it just sitting somewhere in a box?
I'm pretty sure I can lean back in this chair and probably grab it out of that cabinet behind you.
But you never pulled the trigger on putting it on a jacket.
Should I lean back and do that real quick?
Sure.
Pretty sure it's right here.
Ethan's leaning back. He's looking in a cabinet. He's looking through a box of pornography. Just kidding.
It's in there somewhere. Trust me.
It's an Anthrax patch.
Whatever. I'll show you later.
I can't wait to tell my friend Scott Ian about that.
Would he like to be a guest on the episode?
I think he would. I'll ask him.
Yeah, would you, text him.
So we're going to do No Life Til Leather. First, as usual, we are going to read some fan mail, which we're so lucky and grateful to have folks write in every week.
Yeah, I mean, we're, at this point, we're not even 3 months into this podcast, and we have a lot of people interacting with us, which is very cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it seems like we struck a nerve in the Metallica community, and apparently this is something they've wanted or that they're excited about.
It was a good nerve.
Yeah, a good nerve.
So we're going to read from, as usual, we're sort of calling these from the same sources. We've got the Metallica forum, which we love, and we've got Reddit, and we've got our email, which kind of email is the best sort of direct way to reach us.
It is, for sure. Sometimes stuff on the forum can get a little bit lost, and it can get a little.
Even though I scour it every day.
You definitely do. I need to get better.
I promise you, I have a life somewhere. Well, I was like, you gonna come to bed and spend time with me? I'm on the Metallica forum.
Honey, leave me alone.
You know about my Metallica time. So we're gonna read a few of these before we're gonna do it.
Your daughter is crying. Hang on.
Your baby's crying. Well, but I gotta answer this Metallica forum question about Through the Never.
We hope you enjoyed that episode, by the way, because that was really fun to rewatch and record.
Hell yeah, it was.
Yeah, but yeah, let's get into some fan mail, some fan comments, questions, whatever. Ibanez 400, who has written in before, says just curious, not sure if it's been explained, but why aren't you guys on the podcast app? I think you may have replied to this.
Yeah, we are on the app.
Yeah, I assume you're talking about on your iPhone, the podcast app,
right?
Just go there and go to the little magnifying glass to search, and it's Metal Up Your Podcast.
Search for The Outlaw Torn, and
search for Ethan is a Dummy, and you'll find it.
You should be able to find us anywhere you can listen to podcasts. Is that right? Ethan is more of the facilitator of that.
Yeah. Now, if you are listening and you are on Android, and there's some other app that I don't know about that maybe I could submit our podcast to make it available,
let us know.
Please let us know, because I would love for this podcast to be.
Because what did someone ask about a few episodes ago? They asked about some kind of Google thing.
Google Play.
Okay, and we've fixed that, and
I think we should be on Google Play. If not, please let me know, or I'll check after we record this and make it happen. But yeah, anyone else listening who is listening on some random podcast app, let me know what it is, and I'm happy to submit the show to be available to you.
Right on.
All right, moving on. Gene F62, another great episode. Thanks for the shout out. You are welcome.
You're welcome, Gene.
I believe this is in regard to the Through the Never episode. Yep, it is. Back when the movie premiered, I was actually fortunate enough to be a part of a small group that attended a special promotional 3D screening of Through the Never in New York City. Very cool.
Very cool.
Which was followed by a live interview with Metallica. It was part of the New York Times Talk series. They took audience questions, and I was able to ask whether or not the setlist was determined by the storyline versus the setlist being a standalone decision. The answer was that they decided to make sure it was a good roundup of their greatest hits and just to make it work. I imagine this was to make it more appealing to the masses and not to be too niche.
Which that makes sense, right?
It does. I think they were probably catering to their fans and also a bit of this. They have to cater to the storyline. I know that there was more songs performed live and filmed.
That they put in the film, right? But they're not going to do the goddamn Frayed Ends of Sanity,
right?
For their
they're not gonna
debut
do
major
Outlaw
motion
Torn.
picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Outlaw Torn might have been good on that though.
But man, that's very cool that you got to go and actually.
She actually posted on the forum. There's a YouTube video of her asking the question.
I know, what a badass, right?
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I think I responded to her on the forum and asked like, how did you hold it together? Because if I was standing in front of all four of them and got to ask,
you'd just be shitting and sobbing.
I'd be like, explorers, heavy metal,
Outlaw Torn. Why didn't you guys do Outlaw Torn?
I do a podcast. But no, Gene F62.
Yeah, thanks, Gene.
Yeah, great story. I love reading that stuff on the forum. Excuse me. I'm still hoarse, by the way. All right.
Cinderelli?
Cinderelli. I like Cinderelli.
Cinderelli. And the earth becomes my Cinderelli.
I love her. I said her because it sounds female, but I love this person's first line because it's very like old school radio. First time listener. I like that.
Yeah, great work.
I hope that when we do a take phone calls episode, someone says, long time listener, first time caller. I really hope we get that.
We've really made it if we can really get to that.
I really hope so. Anyways, first time listener, great work. Just a correction. Oh, here we go. The live show Greg mixed was not House of Vans. It was the Webster Hall show. Nitpicking. You should do a podcast discussing the different Metallica live eras. Good suggestion. Okay, if you are correct, then I stand corrected. I thought he'd also mixed House of Vans show, but
I've not verified his correction, but I will say to any of you out there who hear a mistake, perceived or otherwise, we have no ego about that. Like, let us know what we get wrong. We've said it before. Our pizza is in the fridge.
It's ready for you.
And it's ready for you to take a bite of.
Yeah. Well, and from day one, I think our official slogan has been, we know more than you, we know less than you.
Right.
So we make a mistake, please call us out. We're happy to correct ourselves and, appease the fans.
I agree. I think what's most exciting to me about our podcast isn't that we know more, it's that we're as excited as you, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So nitpick away for sure. We should do a podcast on the different Metallica live eras. What would that look like?
I think that's a good idea for an episode. Well, I mean...
But, like, what would they even break down into?
I mean, production.
So, stage production.
Stage production, stage set, like,
the look of the band, maybe?
The look, the sound of the band, like, maybe how well they were playing. I mean...
Because obviously, there's a difference between Ride the Lightning Tour versus Puppets versus Justice.
Yeah.
Black Albums where shit just super took off.
Of course, yeah. Oh, that's a great idea.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Hey, maybe you could be a guest.
Oh, I was going to say Cinderelli. If you have some ideas about how that might break down into segments, let us know, because that's a good idea.
Yeah, we'd love the input.
All right.
Ex Autus.
That's like, you have to say that in kind of like a black metal, like, Ex Autus. We pin our faces.
Yeah, totally.
Just to say it.
We should do an episode where we wear black metal makeup, but no one will know because they can't see us. But if you follow us on Instagram, you might see some Instagram stories of us.
Which, by the way, get on the Instagram train. Come follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, we post stories.
You guys want to see?
I know they delete pretty quick.
They delete that 24 hours.
I'm gonna do one right now as we're recording this.
So we're posting Instagram stories where Ethan and I film each other, but they self-destruct after. Am I doing it right now?
Yeah, you're on Instagram stories.
But they
right now.
self-destruct after 24 hours, so you guys got to come follow us on Instagram,
Please
motherfuckers.
do. It's just go to Instagram. It's Metal Up Your Podcast.
Dude, I just feel like they're gonna. I feel like they're gonna see what I look like and be like, "Oh my god, I'm so disappointed." That's what Clint looks like.
That's what he really looks like.
I'm wearing a Guar shirt with like a fucking Pearl Jam flannel shirt over it.
And you are wearing like grunge boots.
I am wearing
those socks, by the way?
fry boots. These socks say "fuck." These are my fuck socks.
Do they really?
And then because I never wear Mitch Mac socks, and then my other socks are vinyl records.
Wow. Okay, I back that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I got a strong game.
All right. Anyways, Ex Autos says, awesome. Cool. My commute home after work is about an hour and a half. Wow. New York City traffic, an hour and a half. So this is perfect listening for that. Love the podcast. Keep it up. Well,
that's great, man. Thank you.
First of all, an hour and a half with New York traffic, that sucks. I'm not sure where you live, but you're probably in New Jersey
or Connecticut, maybe.
Connecticut. Yeah, I mean,
Staten Island.
If I drove an hour and a half north or south, I would be in Kentucky or Alabama.
Which, by the way, you don't want to go to either of those places.
No, Kentucky's cool. Louisville's awesome. Have you been there? Come on.
You know I've been
You've
there.
played a show there? Surely, right?
I've been there.
Well, hey,
I'm from Alabama.
Well, thank you very much. We're glad that we can make your commute home after work
that's
an enjoyable
true.
one.
Yeah, that's cool.
I often listen to other podcasts while I'm driving, and I know that it's a nice break.
It helps,
from,
right?
Yeah, it's a nice break from albums you're listening to all the time
right.
and stuff. So
it's true. Our great friend Laurie Laker,
who just hit me up on Instagram. I was like,
Ethan was just in.
I was in Denver,
but Laurie's in.
I think
Colorado Springs.
Hit me up on Instagram and said, "Hey, drinks on me. Let's hang out." And I unfortunately didn't have the time, and I've been under the weather as well. So I apologize, Laurie.
But speaking of that, if you guys do end up, if you see where Ethan and I are touring, or if we're coming through your town, and you guys want to meet up and cross paths, Ethan and I are totally open to that.
Oh yeah, totally.
And we're on the road all the time.
You can buy us beers anytime you want.
We will accept your free beers.
Yeah.
So Laurie says, a great episode. Side note, but worth mentioning. Ethan, I checked out your music on Bandcamp, and it's awesome.
Oh man, thank you.
Fuck yeah, that's great,
I'm
dude.
glad you like it. Now, see, next time I'm in Denver, I'm happy.
Now you have to buy him drinks.
I'll buy you drinks, and I'll bring you a copy of my vinyl.
Ooh. Which I think I have the test pressing.
You have a
vinyl,
test pressing and the actual copy,
which I'm going to sell on eBay for like $1 million.
You're gonna get about $250 out of that.
Do you remember when I came and visited you in the studio when you were making the record?
Yes,
that was fun.
Totally fun.
I don't remember why I came there.
Because we're friends and it was awesome.
because we're friends.
And I was making
That's
some
good.
fucking awesome music.
So Frodes 99 said
Frodes.
Frodes. Is it?
I'm just saying
It's
that.
probably. It might be Frodes.
I think it's Frodes probably, but I like saying
Frodus?
Frodus.
Frodus.
There used to be a band called Frodus US years ago.
Okay.
Side note. Anyways, move on.
Tangent. Oh my gosh.
I love tangents.
Frodus 99 says, just started listening to this last night. Only on the first episode, but I'm digging it.
Nice.
Fuck yeah. We're noticing, we actually, Ethan and I noticed today that, we were able to see sort of like a sort of stat counter, if you will. And we noticed that we got a lot of listens today, and almost none of them were our most recent episode.
Yeah.
So we're getting these new listeners like this all the time. It's great. Again, so the pizza's in the fridge, man.
It's there for you.
It's great news, yeah.
You can heat it up anytime you want.
Or eat it cold. I like to eat it cold sometimes. I like to eat it cold for
pizza's
breakfast
awesome.
sometimes. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a musician. Our friend Melody says, great episode. I want to watch this is the Through the Never. I want to watch the movie again if you're listening to this, and for some strange reason, I want to pick up a bottle of passion fruit vodka.
Melanie, you have no idea. Clint brought that over when we recorded that episode, and I was like, really flavored vodka? Because anytime I go to the liquor store and get a bottle of whatever, I pass all the flavored vodkas like peach, bubblegum, whatever.
I went for it.
I have to say, I'm a believer. It was delicious.
Yeah.
We tried it on the rocks first, and then we added some black cherry soda to it, and it was.
Ethan's a big fan of this black cherry soda stuff.
Zevia soda. If you're not on board with that, it's delicious.
Thanks, Melody. We really appreciate you for sure, for real. So Ibanez 400 says, great job with this, guys. I especially enjoyed the Newstead episode. By the way, did you guys ever listen to Echo Brain? Curious what you think. Now, I know that I can embarrassingly admit I've still not checked it out. Ethan, though...
I listened to some Echo Brain recently.
Not digging it, right?
I'm not digging it. I'm
not feeling it.
No, I'm not feeling it.
That's okay.
And it's nothing against Jason, nothing against the other guys from Echo Brain, whatever their names are.
They're just called other guys from Echo Brain.
Yeah, Jason Newstead and other guys. You know what? I can totally appreciate Jason wanting to fulfill his passion of this other kind of music and create something outside of Metallica. Totally get it. Just not for me. Not my thing.
Well, we mentioned in our last episode, our kind of what if episode, someone brought up, what if James had just sort of let Echo Brain happen? I think the general consensus is everything would have been fine.
Everything would have been just fine.
Everything would have been okay.
Agreed. All right. Phantom Lord 3 says, re-listen to the Master of Puppets episode today. I forgot about your concept album. That's so good. Thank you, Clint. I've been listening to the album all day now. I know you guys said it's expensive, and I agree, but Back to the Front is on Amazon for $30 right now. Clint just bought it.
I just bought it because of this post.
But going up. I got it for $25 last week. You guys need to get it. It's so good. I actually think it's worth full price. You guys would nerd out hard on it. You can do an episode on it. Yes, we will.
We're going to, right?
Yeah. And I also need to buy a copy of it for $30.
I actually brought it tonight, which I felt bad because it's not like we're going to have a ton of time for Ethan to leaf through it, but I brought it tonight just to be like, dude, you should get this.
I really want to get it. I'm super jealous. Moving on to Reddit. What the ball?
What the ball?
I'm kind of looking at this as a whole word, like what the ball?
What the ball? What the ball?
I think it's what the ball? What the ball?
Reading these monikers is just like...
I know, it's so fun.
It's so fun. All right.
Would you accept calls or whatever from Metallica subreddit users? Would love to call in and chat.
Absolutely.
Funny you should ask.
Absolutely. We have been actually kind of like researching and trying to figure out how to integrate this into what we hope to be sort of a fairly normal occurrence where we want to be able to... I want to be able to come to Ethan's studio and we have it set up. We have all the time set up, and we can just take phone calls while we're recording these episodes.
Yeah, or do something where we pick 5 or 6 of you, and we call you during the episode.
We got to figure out the logistics of how it's going to work.
We're going to do it. That's definitely a plan.
It would work great for current events. It would work great for someone who just went to a show, who maybe did one of the hardwired experiences.
Yep.
To just
or even
shoot
just went
shit.
to the show and just like tell us about the experience and tell us,
Or even if you didn't go to the show, even if you've never heard of Metallica.
We would love to talk to non-Metallica
Even if you're my
fans.
mom, if you just want to.
That would be a good segment.
No.
Is talk to like our parents.
Oh. Like, Mom, remember the time when I was 13 and playing Inner Sandman for like 7 hours straight in my bedroom? And you were
I
yelling
can call
for
my
me to
mom
turn
and
it
say,
down?
hey, Mom, remember that time that after I was out of high school and I came back home to visit and I found all my old Metallica shirts covered in like dirt because you cleaned furniture with them?
What?
True story.
Oh, my God.
All my metal shirts growing up slowly disappeared. I thought I just lost them. And I was probably...
They're like dish rags now.
Yeah, I came home. It was when I first moved to Nashville. I went home to visit for Christmas or something, and my dad asked me to grab something out of my closet. So I went in there, opened the closet door, and I saw this bag, and I moved it, and I noticed like a logo of a metal band. What is this? Pulled it down, and it was like all my old metal shirts. I had this Bitchin' and Justice for All white shirt.
Oh, my God. A white one?
Yeah.
With Lady Justice on it?
Yeah, and it had like the faces on the back, dude. It was so cool. And I pull it out, and it just smells like Pledge. Like lemon Pledge. Like she's been
could
like
smell worse.
Could
It was
smell
used to
worse.
clean shit.
But
Well, so let me ask you this: do those shirts still exist?
no,
Oh, they're gone.
they were messed up enough where I didn't even want to take them.
Because you could turn them into a bitchin' quilt.
I could.
Put good throw for your couch.
That's very true.
Okay.
So yes, we'll take calls.
Oh yeah, we're gonna take calls.
All that to say.
Okay. Black Lord, which 2 R's in Lord. Black Lord.
Or it's
says-
Hispanic. Black Lord.
Wait, what is this?
Thanks, Clint.
Oh, I mentioned in our Through the Never episode that like Reddit users have like stopped hanging with us, like they stopped responding. Here, thanks, Clint. We might not be as vocal as the other places, but we are listening.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Black Lord, for speaking to my insecurity about Reddit.
And I think this next comment continues that.
Yep, same deal. Tristan Korb says, hey, I'm a Reddit user and I listen. Not sure why your posts don't get much response here, but alas. Thanks for another great podcast.
Oh, man.
Well, it's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tristan.
Thank you, Tristan. All right, now we're going to the email section here. This is from Patrick. Hi, I just want to say greetings from Sweden. Greetings from Denmark. We're neighbors.
I was going to say, greetings from Sweden.
I can see you so closely over the water. I've actually taken a ferry from Sweden to Denmark.
Look at you. Look at you, Ethan.
I just want to say greetings
ferry.
from Sweden. Greetings from Sweden to tell you that your podcast is really awesome. Discovered it kind of recently. Just listened to the one about Hardwired. So yeah, my topic was Torben because your Torben imitation is fucking hilarious. For real. Thanks. So yeah, keep it up. So keep doing what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to keep listening to your stuff. Well, I will say, Patrick, I thank you so much for enjoying my Torben. I don't think it's perfectly accurate, but it's pretty close. A little higher pitched than Lars's father, but I'll do my best.
Oh my God, what an amazing shout out.
You're welcome, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick. Man, imagine if we had Torben on.
Like actual Torben.
Like real, not your great Torben that lives in your house, but
not Torben that lives in my brain.
Thanks, Patrick. Man, Patrick from Sweden. We have like all these like great international listeners. It's really cool.
That's blowing my mind. Like we're a podcast that is 3 months old, and we have multiple people, multiple countries, like where there's fans and people listening to us. It's so mind blowing.
It's very cool. Okay, we have another email from Brady Trantham who says, "Hey guys, stumbled upon the show a few days ago and I love it." Great, thanks, Brady.
Thank you.
Metallica's been my band since I was 14. I'm 26 now, and I love to hear other Metallicats out and about.
Whoa, that's so rockabilly of you.
Are we Metallicats?
Metallicats.
As a guy who does his own podcast, and then Brady goes on to say, you don't have to read my podcast on the air.
But we are.
But of course we're going to. So Brady has a podcast called Oklahoma City Thunder, which I honestly...
The basketball team. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, I honestly don't know what that is.
You didn't know what that was?
I swear to God, I don't.
I can only assume that you are talking about the NBA team. Yeah, which were previously these Seattle Supersonics.
Okay.
That's also basketball.
Okay. I'm not slagging sports.
Clint, those are sports.
I'm not one of these musician artist types who slag sports. I think sports are killer. It's not an interest of mine, so I don't know what it is. So Brady has a podcast called Oklahoma City Thunder. He says,
or it's dedicated to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay.
What is it called?
I don't know.
I don't think he even
I don't
mentioned
think he
it.
says. I'm
Brady?
assuming. Are you serious? I'm assuming it's called Oklahoma City Thunder, right?
It's a podcast dedicated to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh shit! He didn't even tell us what it's called.
We can't even promote your Oklahoma City. Oh my gosh! There's probably a lot of basketball fans listening to this right now.
Holy shit! We're gonna have to do a goddamn follow up on this. All right, so he's back to us. Brady says, as a guy who does his own podcast, I understand how much work goes into these things. I appreciate all the hard work. And I love hearing anything about the best damn band in the land anytime. Very cool. Thank you.
I like that last line.
We have gotten slagged a little bit about not being as research as we could be, but this guy understands, as a guy who makes a podcast, that it does require more work than you think.
It does, yes.
It actually does. Well,
and also when you're in the middle of recording an episode and you've been drinking, you're in the heat of the moment, you're discussing something about a record, about a member, whatever. You tend to forget things and things slip your mind,
Every moment's the heat of the moment, dude.
Exactly, bro.
I'll metal up your goddamn podcast.
Hell yeah.
Brady goes on to write, I do have one question that maybe you guys could answer or even dedicate an entire show to.
Ooh.
Is it okay to be a diehard Metallica fan, love all the thrash classics, Damage, Fight, Dyers, etc., but still get away with saying Load is your favorite album? Maybe it's because I was born in 1990 and grew up with the Load albums in my car. My mom was a huge Metallica fan and had to rediscover the 80s material. Anyway, thanks again. Love the show.
Oh, yeah. I responded to this dude. Or I replied. I think I told him something that, good on your mom. That's awesome.
I have
Clint,
so much to say about
I think
that.
you need to take this this question about load.
Of course, dude. It is super okay to love the 80s shit, but if your jam is goddamn load and reload like mine was, of course it's okay, dude. There are some Metallica fans who will slag it. That's fine. But Metallica's Metallica. So if you love that band, you don't just love the one record they made. You gotta love their career. And part of loving them is criticizing where you think they might have had missteps. For Ethan and I, unanimously, it's Saint Anger.
Yes.
And Ethan may not be as passionate about Load and Reload as I am, but I might not be as passionate about Death Magnetic as Ethan is.
Correct.
All right? So part of loving a band is you got to just get on the fucking ride, you got to get on the roller coaster, and you got to go with them in the ups and downs.
Yeah, there's a couple turns you don't like, maybe make you feel a little sick here and there, but
And maybe-
overall the ride is a good ride.
Yeah, and maybe for some little stretches you get off the ride. That's okay too.
Yeah, take a break. Totally fine. All right, moving on. We have John Mark Doro.
Which this is a friend of mine.
Is it?
Well, when you read the rest of it, you'll see why.
Okay. Hello, John. We have a mutual friend named Clint. Hey guys, just want to let you know that I'm enjoying these episodes like you would not believe. I played a few gigs with Clint. Oh, I responded to this guy. I played a few gigs with Clint, and although we're not close friends, we did bond over Metallica at one of those gigs. So glad you guys decided to do this. Very cool. I can't wait for the episode about S&M. We agree. We can't wait to do it as well.
Yeah,
but we're also kind of wanting to hold that one in the can for a little bit. We don't want to blow our wad just yet.
True. He speaks the truth.
That was the record that got me into Metallica. That's interesting. A live record.
We've gotten a few of those.
Yeah, we have. I had heard Enter Sandman before, but that was it. I was in the 7th grade and started learning all of Lars's drum parts from that album. I eventually purchased every...
Which John Mark is a drummer. Sorry.
I gathered that.
I'm sorry, Ethan. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Let me repeat that. I was in 7th grade and started learning all of Lars's drum parts. He's a drummer. I eventually purchased every release up to that point, but S&M started it all. That's so cool.
I love it.
It goes on to say, also looking forward to an episode on some kind of monster. You have no idea. I cannot wait to do that.
It's coming, for sure.
This was one of my all-time favorite movies for a long time. I watched it, all the DV commentaries, deleted scenes, read the book on the filmmakers put out. Yep. Incredible stuff. Although Saint Anger is easily my least favorite Metallica record, me too, it holds a special place in my heart because it was the first record Metallica put out after I became a fan.
Which, that's special, right?
Yeah, that is. It's a special moment. I can't say that it's a special record.
But when you come online, whatever's kind of happening at the time, you attach certain meaning to.
I mean, if I relate that to my experience, I mean, I came online with Injustice, and the next record was the Black Album, so I was doing fine.
You were in like the golden era.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I definitely was at one side of the rainbow finding the pot of gold. So
one side of the rainbow.
I thought that was pretty good.
Dude, you were like a living poem, man.
A living poem. Wow.
One side of the rainbow, man. I will say about John Mark. So John Mark, I did a few one-offs with him. He's a Birmingham-based drummer, and we had to do this gig. This is kind of gig where you like drive yourself to the gig, and
yeah.
So we drove all the way to Atlanta from Birmingham and talked a lot about films and about Metallica, and he's a real special, cool dude. It's cool that he wrote in. I'm glad he's listening.
Awesome. That's very cool.
And he has a very similar trajectory to me, like S&M, Load, Reload.
When was the last
era.
time you talked to this guy?
He actually texted me. I think before he actually wrote an email about the podcast, and so we sort of reconnect a little bit through text. So.
Very cool. See, our podcast brings old friends together.
Bringing people together. That's
awesome.
Was that the last thing?
That's the last one on my notes.
But is there one for me to read? I'll put all these down. No, I think that's it, right?
I think that's all.
All right, cool. So thanks to everyone, as usual, for writing in and taking the time to participate with us and blah, blah, blah. We love it.
Yeah, and we love reading that stuff at the top of each episode just to kind of put it out there and catch up and see what you guys are talking about, see your feedback, all that stuff.
And just remind you guys that we're super famous.
We're still trying to adjust to our new lives as famous people.
It's a challenge.
It is, yeah.
Somehow we find a way.
We do.
No Life Til Leather.
All right, No Life Til Leather. This is
I have to say
cassette right here.
I have to say this.
I've got it right here.
If you guys wanted some sort of have a pinpoint of how the trajectory of how Ethan and I became friends, we became friends in April, early April, at a Matthew Mayfield show.
Yeah.
That same year, Record Store Day, I was on the road or something.
No, you were leaving that day.
I was leaving that day.
And you weren't sure if you could make it to this record store called Fond Object.
Fond Objects. But that was the year that Metallica released No Life Til Leather on cassette, limited edition, and I was fucking scared to death I couldn't get it because I was leaving for tour that day. My new friend Ethan, which we've just been friends for like 2 weeks maybe, or a day? Was it a day? Did I meet you at the show the day before?
It might have been. Let's just say a week.
So I reach out to Ethan. I'm like, dude,
if you see it,
because Ethan's a big Record Store Day guy too, but he was at a different shop in Nashville. I said, man, if you got this No Life Til Leather cassette, if there's an extra one, please get it for me. He bought me that and a Guar record.
Yeah, the Guar release.
And a Bryan Adams 7-inch.
Yep. Oh yeah, I went up and I think this store, Fond Object in particular, had like 5 or 6 of the Metallica cassettes.
Right.
I grabbed 2 because I know in general you're supposed to only buy 1 copy of each release.
Right.
So I grabbed 2 and just kind of browsed the store. I didn't check out until you showed up and handed
my wife and my kid.
Yep, you had your wife and your kid in tow, and now you're the proud owner of a No Life Til Leather reissue cassette.
Which I still haven't opened it.
I haven't either. I wanted to open it on the show.
Did we decide we're going to open it on the show?
Should we? I don't know.
Is that going to be a big moment?
Is it going to be a big moment in like 10 years when this thing's worth like $5,000
like,
sealed? And I'm like, damn it. Remember that podcast I used to have like 8 years ago that ended?
We don't have to open it.
I don't know. It's so exciting.
I know. I actually agree. We should open it. You know what? Here's the deal. I'll give you my sealed one if we open it on the show.
How about you give me your sealed one if this becomes worth a lot of money? Well, I mean, from what I can tell, it doesn't look like there's any notes inside, but there could be. I don't know.
There's not. I mean, you can see the gatefold of it.
Yeah.
Online.
I'm gonna leave it sealed. I've decided.
Really?
Wow. Guilt trip.
I'm not guilting
Jeez.
you. I've offered to give you my sealed one. I think we should open it. Can you hear the plastic scratching off? And let it be known. Let it be written. Let it be
known
done.
that I haven't opened up a sealed cassette, in I don't know how long.
In like 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh, so exciting! We should have had a little boom box, like put it in, hit play.
I know. Unfortunately,
There it
no
is,
one has
guys.
any way to play a cassette.
There it
you hear
is.
the crinkle crinkle? That's the sound of me giving Ethan my $3,000 valuable cassette.
Ooh,
And it's actually Lars's handwriting.
yeah,
Photocopy.
Well, I know that this is okay. Wow, it's so accurate. So on one side, there's like a label that says Metallica demo, turned down bass on amp.
Turn on the bass on the amp.
So
Isn't that amazing?
What I know is that
It's like the opposite of Injustice for All.
Yeah, exactly. So we've seen online for years the original No Life Til Leather artwork, but this was basically Lars's personal demo,
Right.
like his copy that he
It's
actually
a white cassette.
Yeah, he wrote on and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So pretty
Very cool.
Yeah.
And it's like a Metallica stamp.
Yep, it is. And the liner notes in here say nothing,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As we predicted.
and that's about it.
So you just ruined that copy.
There we go. We're done with that.
That was great. Thank you for doing that.
Hey, you're welcome.
So we're going to do what we normally do on these, where we're just going to talk about some fucking facts. Mm-hmm. Because we like to believe that our podcast is in at least some way educational.
A little educational.
Who's going to lead off? You want me to do it?
Yeah, go for it. You start.
So, for those of you who are factoid nerds out there, it was recorded on July 6, 1982 at Chateau East Studios in Tustin, California.
I have spent a lot of time in and near Tustin.
Are you kidding me? I was writing that then. I was like, I've never heard of it.
Tustin is in Orange County.
Okay.
So I grew up in Long Beach, and my family moved down to Orange County. We lived in Mission Viejo. Next to Mission Viejo, you have like El Toro, Lake Forest, and Tustin.
Okay. Geography lessons. With
Tustin is like next to like Santa Ana. Tustin's close to like, have you ever flown into the John Wayne Airport?
Yes. I have.
Tustin's very close to there.
Okay.
It's right off like I-5 freeway.
So how far is that from LA?
From LA, without traffic or construction, you're looking at like maybe an hour.
Okay. So they went out of town a little bit to do this.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's like I'd say it's like central Orange County.
It's the most widely circulated demo of Metallica, but it is preceded by several other demos.
Yeah, which if you haven't listened to, of all the demos, this one sounds the best.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound great. So
I kind of dig it.
Well, if you like Kill 'Em All, you'll like this demo.
Of course, yeah. I like it.
Which we like Kill 'Em All. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the Whiskey audition tape, which had Killing Time by Sweet Savage and Let It Loose by Savage. Okay. And then there's the Ron McGovney's 82 Garage demo, which had Hit the Lights, Jump in the Fire, Sucking My Love, The Prince, and My Evil and Helpless Diamond Head covers.
Very cool.
Then you had the Power Metal demo, which had Hit the Lights, Jump in the Fire, New Song, Mechanix, New Song, Motor Breath.
Which, have you seen, I don't know, again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it's like, I don't think it was official artwork or anything, but there's online, there is a Power Metal artwork cover. And it's like a naked girl, like a buff dude and stuff. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, the buff dude was me.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah, that was me.
I was the naked girl?
Duh.
I thought so.
Of course. And so then we have No Life Till Leather, which allegedly was sort of an homage to Motorhead's No Sleep Till Hammersmith.
Okay.
Which No Sleep Till Hammersmith is a better title of a thing than No Life Till Leather.
I'm trying to put myself in like the early 80s, and if someone had that slogan, like, man, no life till leather, at the time, would I be like, what? Or would I be like, fuck yeah, no life till leather?
It's hard to tell because
life is leather or something. I don't know.
You haven't lived till you have leather, bro.
You know who backs that slogan is Rob Halford.
Well, duh. He
Yeah.
wrote the book on No Life Till Leather. It's like an S&M coffee table book waiting to happen. So it was paid for by High Velocity record label owner Kenny Kane, who thought it might be an EP, but then when he heard it, he thought it sucked and didn't want to put it out. And we fast forward to the future, some speculate that the reason that the extended version has been blocked by legal troubles is because Kenny Kane wants that little cashola.
Well, and that's like been in Metallica news within the last year.
Right.
That Metallica's wanted to release like some kind of extended version box set of No Life Till Leather, which I can only assume means the previous demos, a lot of unreleased stuff. Maybe
the demos we just mentioned, right?
Yeah, or maybe even stuff we haven't heard. Maybe there's other demos that, that only those guys have and no one's ever heard. But I hope it gets released. I would love to.
I don't think it's going to happen because what they wanted to do is release the extended version of No Life Till Leather before they did the Kill 'Em All, but they've already done the Kill 'Em All and the Ride to Lightning, which if you guys don't have that, I mean, it comes with all these great live shows from around that era.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the Puppets one. Obviously the Justice one. If you heard our last episode, we hope that it has some bass guitar in it, as does almost every Metallica fan in the world. So Lars personally sent out, according to his memory, 50 to 100 of these himself.
Okay.
Of the original tape.
I mean, I don't know when you originally like started playing in bands, but like when I did, like
1973.
Okay, I thought so.
Ish.
But I remember being in like local bands and like recording a demo, and you had cassettes and you got them duplicated.
Sure.
And you hand them out to your friends and all that stuff. I'm sure, he's probably sending them to record labels, people to review it, stuff like that.
Absolutely. And one of them found its way to Johnny Z.
Good old Johnny Z. Now, Johnny Z...
all the way to... it found its way all the way to New York, right? Which is fascinating.
Well, Johnny Z was trying to originally broker essentially record deals with labels in New York.
Okay.
When they didn't basically get any response or they got turned down or whatever, he pretty much like borrowed money to like pay for them to record,
right,
and release it on Megaforce Records.
Megaforce, right?
Yeah. So Johnny Z is like he's a pivotal point in Metallica's history.
Yeah, he's like Christopher Columbus or something.
He kind of discovered Metallica.
Which, you know what? When we talked about 30th anniversary episodes,
we say like Leif Erikson.
Oh, who's that?
Well, Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. Let's be honest.
No, Donald Trump did.
Well, I know.
But you know what? Johnny Z was missing from the 30th anniversary shows, don't you think?
I think so.
He could have made an appearance.
I mean, do you think they probably reached out to him?
I mean,
there wasn't many people missing. Like Fleming wasn't there, but
Fleming wasn't there. Rick Rubin wasn't there. Johnny Z wasn't there.
I mean, with the amount of people they had at those shows, I would like to think they reached out to all those people, and they just couldn't do it.
Well, there might have just been logistical issues, or
right.
yeah, sure. But Johnny Z, like, he's got a place in a very serious place in the history of this band.
Yeah, I mean, after them getting like turned down or ignored by a bunch of labels, he decided to take it in his own hands.
He like mortgaged his house to get them on the road, and
thank you, Johnny Z.
And then he was bought out by Elektra, which
Right.
was a nice deal for him.
Oh yeah.
All right, so all the songs that were on this demo ended up on Kill 'Em All.
Yep.
The Mechanix, obviously, was a Dave Mustaine tune that got reworked into the Four Horsemen, which I think the Four Horsemen is a better version.
It is. Yeah,
The sort of like
Hetfield
sexual mechanic using euphemisms for car shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Hetfield obviously like rewrote the lyrics. They added a bridge to the song, like the whole ballad section.
Right.
Yeah, it's much better. I mean, I do love this version on this demo. It's pretty bitchin', and Mustaine's lead work, not only on this and the whole thing.
He does kick ass on the whole thing. It's
fucking
true.
Rips on this thing.
It's true. It does.
It really
kick ass.
does.
Yeah.
And they were children when they recorded this.
They were 2.5, 3.5 years old.
4 years old.
And yeah, so there are interesting differences, right? So Seeking the Story is a little bit slower, a little bit doomier, some might
Yeah.
say. Phantom Lord doesn't have that intro, which the intro to Phantom Lord and Kill 'Em All is one of my favorite moments.
Yeah,
of
it's
Kill 'Em
pretty
All.
cool.
So I'm glad that they figured that out. Now, this is fascinating. They've re-released it. It's been re-released unofficially twice.
Yeah.
First of all, as Metallica, the Bay Area Thrashers, where someone just basically took No Life Till Leather and added live, like, crowd noise.
Bay Area Thrashers almost sounds like a Bay Area street hockey team or something. Like, we're the Bay Area Thrashers.
Yeah, come check us out. We hit hockey pucks all night. But it's just amazing that someone kind of took that and tried to, like, scam it,
Yeah. Well,
Then
there was I think these songs. It was like called "Metal Up Your Ass Live." That was
Okay.
another like bootleg thing, but
Well, the other one that they mentioned was Metallica in the Beginning Live, which was basically just Bay Area Thrashers Part 2.
yeah,
Needless to say, it got shut down. Legal teams shut it down. They officially re-released it, like Metallica re-released it on the aforementioned Record Store Day 2015, where you procured a copy for me, and then you
Yep.
just ripped yours up, which I have to give you mine now, because it's going to be worth...
You don't have to do that.
Well, I will. I've vowed to.
I said you had to do it if it ends up being worth thousands of dollars.
All right.
Then you give it to me.
You got it.
Okay.
Because I don't care about money.
Neither do I.
But the re-release is like they sort of photocopied Lars's original copy, which has his handwriting.
Right? Yeah. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the way they did it's not the one they like handed out to fans and to labels and whatever. It's like, yep, Lars's personal stash kind of thing. I think it's a nice touch for a re-release.
It's a nice touch. A nice Danish
It's very
touch.
nice. It's such a great Danish touch. I think it's great.
I think my son did a good job writing the track list on Z.
At this point in his career, I was hoping for a tennis champion, but it just wasn't in the cards.
He has disappointed me in ways unimaginable
I'm
yet.
going to stay back in Denmark and hide out.
So they did this record store release, which Metallica are like ambassadors of Record Store Day, right? Like
Yeah.
Should we explain what Record Store Day is for people who may not know?
Yeah, if you don't know what it is, Record Store Day is this like kind of holiday-ish event.
It's every April, and
Every
it's
April.
5 years old.
5 or 6 years old, I think. Yeah,
It's not very old. It's young.
not very old, but it's really cool. It's a big part of why vinyl has had a big resurgence, I think.
Sure.
At least here in Nashville, there's a lot of cool record stores here. You know, Jack White's Third Man Records being one of them, Grimey's, Fond Object, The Groove, a lot of places.
The Groove's my sort of local.
Yeah,
East
The Groove is
Nashville.
awesome. Great Escape.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, it's like this really cool event. It's not only just for like vinyl nerds, because you know, bands put out specific releases just for Record Store Day, like a cool EP
Right.
or
Exclusives.
exclusives.
And
Yeah.
what it's designed to do is to get people out, right? So
Yeah.
and bands, they'll have like live bands playing if they can
Yeah,
in
they're
the
like
shop or
events at
outside.
every record store.
Right. And the aforementioned, when Ethan got this cassette tape for me, my wife and I and my 1.5-year-old at the time were at a record store called The Groove in East Nashville where we live, and the line was just literally hours and hours long.
Oh, yeah.
But part of the joy of that is you kind of get in that line.
Yep.
You talk to other people who love music.
Oh, yeah.
You hope, in my case, that the Guar limited release doesn't sell out. But I was texting Ethan saying, like, oh my God, we've been in this line for an hour. And Ethan said, come to Found Object, which is in Riverside Village, which is really close to where we live. No line at all. And that's how that happened.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful day where, like, music lovers, vinyl or not, it's just music lovers.
Oh, it's so fun, yeah.
And these record stores, which, by the way, they're dying. Enjoying physical copies of music is becoming a lost art. But these record store days are kind of becoming the sort of quarter of income that these record stores are subsisting on throughout the whole year.
Definitely.
So if you've never heard of it, go support it. It's every April.
Yeah, it's usually mid-April. They're really fun events. Like most cities around the country will have live bands, a bunch of giveaways.
And there's recordstoreday.com where you can like put in your zip code and see what your nearest record store is.
Exactly, yeah.
So that was the record store day thing, but then they planned to do this extended release where it was beyond the cassette tape. So they were going to do a CD, a vinyl, and a box set.
I would have been down for all that.
I probably would have gotten
Of course.
But then it kind of got blocked. They had legal troubles, which they've been vague about what the legal troubles were. Some people thought it might have been Dave Mustaine.
Could have been.
Because of mastering rights for Mechanix or blah, blah, blah. Some people thought it might have been Rob McGovney.
There's a couple songs. I don't know if Ron has any leg to stand on, but Mustaine has multiple co-writing credits on these songs. So.
I think it's likely this Kenny Kane guy who...
Fuck him.
I agree.
Who is he?
Well, he's Kenny Kane.
I know, but...
He's KK. He's K squared, man.
I don't like him.
I love that I'd suddenly have all these nicknames for him. It's K squared, bro.
Yeah.
So, but they've already moved on to they've done Kill 'Em All Ride Lightning. It's doubtful they'll ever revisit this era, because they got to move forward. And
yeah, they do. I mean, I'm sure in the back of their minds they're hoping to release it one day, and hopefully that can come to fruition.
A vinyl and a limited edition box set for No Life Till Leather. It's like 7 songs.
Well, I mean.
But you were saying maybe
they talk about the extended version.
The Power Metal demo and the Whiskey Audition tape. Yes,
definitely. And like I said, there might be, old dusty cassettes that Lars and James have sitting in like a, safe that no one's ever heard.
Well, Lars has even said that they hired a quote unquote an old school private detective to locate some of the missing takes for the expanded edition.
Well, there you go. Let's hear it. I'm down. Kenny, get out of the way. I want to hear this shit. So
those are kind of the facts of it, right?
Yep.
I do like this quote from Lars. He quoted when talking about like why. So instead of starting with Kill 'Em All, why go back even before Kill 'Em All to demos? And he wrote, "It's time for us to put out some next level reissues and do the song and dance of the catalog that everyone else has done. The U2s, the Led Zeppelins, the Oasises." Ulrich says, instead of starting with Kill 'Em All in 1983, we figured we'd go back another 2 years to when the band was formed in 1981. Good quote. Interesting. Why he lumped Oasis in with U2 and Led Zeppelin is an eternal fucking mystery.
I mean, I like Oasis.
I love Oasis.
They're great.
But are they Led Zeppelin or U2?
No.
Do they have the archives of Led Zeppelin and U2?
No.
Are you fucking kidding me? But Lars is a massive Oasis fan.
That's great. Understandable. They're a great band.
Yeah, well, they're not Led Zeppelin.
I still have yet to see the Oasis documentary.
Supersonic?
Yeah.
It's disappointing because it's just 90 minutes of them being assholes.
Isn't that what you want?
No. It doesn't come off well.
Really? I'll still watch it.
No. I mean, it's worth a watch. It's worth a viewing.
Yeah. So I think a quick track by track, not in super detail because these songs...
And we've already done Kill 'Em All, right?
Right. But I just want to mostly point out, I mean, the Mechanix is the biggest difference on this thing. It is the Four Horsemen, different lyrics. The main thing I want to point out, so let me read them down to you real quick. Hit the Lights, Mechanix, Motor Breath, Seek and Destroy, Metal Militia, Jump in the Fire, Phantom Lord.
Great.
The one thing I'll say about this demo is poor Kirk on Kill 'Em All having to learn all these solos. Because, I mean, Kirk pretty much played them the same. There's not much difference.
But he was up for it because he was young and he was excited to get the gig. And
he got the gig, he basically was, with them, the afternoon after they fired.
And the story
Mustaine.
is he learned them all like on the plane ride to New York.
Yeah. But I gotta say, Mustaine's solos on this demo are fucking great.
Okay, they are good. They are good. Technically, they're impressive, and they're like a flurry. It's like that young. They match the rest of the demo. They match James's vocal, Lars's playing.
Sure.
It's this sort of young fucking hurricane, right? But they don't. I don't know. I could hear the difference. I could hear the difference between Mustaine and Hammett, and
Sure.
I prefer Hammett. Especially that middle section of the Four Horsemen, what that became.
What that became is
Kirk,
beautiful.
you know?
It's awesome. It's great. I think for what is on this cassette, as far as Mustaine's solos go, I kind of prefer it over
You do?
Kill 'Em All.
Really?
I mean, I love Kill 'Em All. I'm just saying, if you could just like insert these solos onto the Kill 'Em All record,
Yeah.
there's just something. I mean, there's an
Because they're more
aggression about
technically.
it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very aggressive, and I don't know.
Because let's face it, Dave Mustaine, alcoholic, troubled, angry, right?
Yeah.
You can channel that into some great shit. Kirk,
yeah,
kind of passive, chill, whatever goes.
Right.
And maybe some of that comes across, right? In the
Totally.
solos.
Oh yeah. The other thing I would love to point out about this
Yeah.
is it had been a long time since I actually listened to this demo. When I re-listened to it recently, I started laughing because when Hit the Lights started, I was like, "Wait a second! I thought Hetfield sang."
Yeah, it sounds
on
like
every song.
Dave.
It sounds like Dave Mustaine.
I know.
It's crazy. Like, I think this is clearly like this is an era of Metallica where they're finding themselves, they're finding their voices, they're finding who they are on their instruments and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of parts on this, on all 7 songs where he's singing kind of like Dave Mustaine. Now, I don't know if that means that Hetfield took influence from him, or maybe once Dave got kicked out, he kind of took that singing style and ran with it.
I think they were all just taking influence from like Diamond Head and shit.
True.
You know, to me, hearing the difference between James that year and when they actually recorded Kill 'Em All,
Which is about
is
a year
so
later, yeah.
different.
Yeah.
I mean, when I hear Hit the Lights on No Life Til Leather, it's like giggly to me because it's pure and raw and he's going for it, but it makes me laugh. You know.
It's clearly their influence of British heavy metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that James found his own little path.
I mean, can you imagine if he was singing like this now, or like on the Black Album?
Well, James has said in recent interviews that they're like, "What do you think when you hear like Kill 'Em All?" Or maybe they even mentioned the No Life Til Leather demo, and he's like, "My first thought when I heard it after a long time of being away from it was, who's that chick singing?"
He was singing pretty high.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was super young. He had that adolescence in him.
No
and he
Life
could-
Til Leather. Okay, so after that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, in recent years, he's tried to hit those notes, and I find it a little annoying.
well, no one over 40 can hit those notes anymore.
Unless your name is
Bruce
Dickinson. Yeah,
right?
Bruce Dickinson can, yes.
Or Brian Johnson.
Right.
Right.
Or Dio when he was still alive. Yeah. But, yeah, in recent years, he's kind of chilled out on it recently, but, I would say like when they were doing like the Orion Festival, like when they played Kill 'Em All front to back, he was trying to hit those notes, and the note was kind of there, but it sounded a little bit karaoke.
Well, there are moments of like Ride the Lightning where he does whatever the big high thing is. He just does it low and does it kind of,
Which I think he should
he
totally.
does it kind of doomy.
It's the safe bet. I think it sounds. Yes, it sounds so much better.
Well, that's the way to go. Yeah.
It is.
Well, he's not 22 anymore. It's fine.
No.
I forgive him and I accept all that. There's no
yeah.
problem there.
I mean, yeah.
Is there anything to say about Ron McGovney's bass on this demo?
I will say
It's good. It's solid.
It's very solid. Very solid.
It's good enough to imagine him continuing to be in the band.
Yeah. This is a little small detail, but on the version of Jump in the Fire on this one, I love, and this is so tiny, but on Kill 'Em All, on the intro, the bass is just kind of hanging on that G, or I think it's F sharp. And then eventually it kind of walks down. On this version, it walks down from the get-go. and on the chorus too. And it's a little bit different from the Kill 'Em All version, and I think I actually prefer it.
You're losing me, bro.
Am I losing you? I noticed it today when I was listening to it.
We were told we don't talk too much about being musicians on this podcast.
That was not that long. Okay, I'll say this for you non-musicians. On the Kill 'Em All version, the bass is different from this one, and I prefer the cassette version.
Grab your bass and play it. Could you do that?
I don't know if I could right now.
Really? Grab a guitar and play any Metallica song right now. Just for fun.
A guitar or a bass?
Either one.
Well, I don't want to.
Could you do My Friend of Misery? The intro to My Friend of Misery? Do you know it? Ethan is now getting up, and he has a whole wall of guitars here. We're just going to end this episode with a little...
Something that's not from this
well, sure.
demo?
Let's be fun. I swear to God, we did not plan this. I totally just fucking sprung this on Ethan. This is what you gotta love about this podcast, man. It's Ethan just fucking picked up this guitar and played My Friend of Misery out of the fucking blue on our No Life Til Leather episode.
I've also not tuned this bass in probably a month because I've been out of town.
Well, it says a lot about... That was great.
There you go.
You know what? We should end this episode to you playing that.
What? My Friend of Misery?
Duh. Yeah. So...
Didn't I already do that?
Well, we're going to coda it now.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone, for checking it out. We just burnt down our No Life. So if you want to find us on all the things, it's Metal Up Your PC on Twitter. Metal Up Your Podcast on Instagram.
Yep.
If you want to email us, which is the best way to reach us directly, it's metalupyourpodcastshow@gmail.com. And if you could take the time, go ahead and start playing that for me, buddy. If you could take the time, go to iTunes and just leave us a review, even if it's just to say, I dig it. I dig the pizza in the fridge. We'd very much appreciate it. We're so grateful for all of you. Thank you for continuing to listen to us. We've got a lot of great shit in store. And with that, we will say good night. Good night, Ethan.
Good night.
Peace.
If you were our advisor, what would you say? Then I would say delete that.